Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Today we'll be making a little bit of stew because it's the fall season, and when fall comes around I always get a hankering for delicious stew. So that's what I'm going to do over here, and I'm going to bring you along step by step through the arduous process that is cooking with Pat. I'll be honest with you, I don't really have any recipes, I don't really have a whole lot of measuring utilities, and I don't have a really nice spice rack. So basically, we're just going to take a couple of vegetables and some beef and throw them in a large pot together and see how that works out. I'm going to need some beef, I'm going to need carrots, I'm going to need parsnips, I'll need potatoes, and I'll probably need a lot of water as well. I'm also going to need to find a large pot somewhere in this house, and frankly, I don't know if I've got one big enough, but we're going to make it happen nonetheless. Let's start in the fridge. Inside the fridge you'll find that I have purchased some stew beef. I expect that's cut from a round roast. I'll need 2 parsnips, and and I've broken my shelf. Not badly though. Need some carrots and potatoes. I don't keep in the fridge. I keep them elsewhere, and I'll have to dig around for them. I'm also going to need onions and garlic, because what's good that can't be improved with garlic, let's be honest. So I think I've got all my ingredients. Now it's time to cut them up. To start things off, I'm actually going to want to sear the beef, and in order to do that I'm going to need some onions and some olive oil. The wonderful thing about cooking in your own home is that you'll always find yourself poorly attempting to transform into your favorite TV chef. And in this case, I'm a big fan of Alton Brown, and I don't have anywhere near the culinary wisdom or talent that Mr. Brown possesses, but nonetheless, I like the man's style. So if you see me acting a little bit strangely, that's just me doing a horrible impression of my favorite food star. And again, with no real skill or talent. The one thing I'm very good at, I can say for myself, is not cutting myself with horribly sharp objects. The secret is, it's sharp. Don't play around with it. So yeah, those fancy cooking shows where you see guys cutting stuff super fast, don't think so. Just gonna really, really carefully slice into these guys. Next, I think I'll take a look down here for some pots and pans and see if I can find one suitable. Grab a little olive oil here and turn on the heat. I have a gas stove. I don't know if that makes a difference, but what I do know is that I love this pan. I use it for soups and sauces and steak slices and other things that begin with S. Start by heating it up, putting a little olive oil in there, and tossing in my onions. Suddenly say to yourself, wow, that's a lot of onion. Yes it is. Yes, it is. And that's okay, because all of that is eventually going to make its way into the stew anyway. But when I sear my beef, I like to get lots of that oniony flavor in there. So, listen you, I'm going to break you up. Reaching directly into a hot pan and pulling items out with your bare hands is always a good idea, people. It never ends poorly for anybody involved. As you can hear the sizzling now, the heat is just starting to make its way into the pan, so I'm not really worried about it. Pat is not a professional chef. Do not attempt to imitate this activity at home. You will get your ass burned. I think that's going to be one of the main staples of all of my YouTube shows is just me admitting that I have absolutely no idea what the hell I'm doing the vast majority of the time. Patventure Time? Hey, what's that plant over there? I don't know what that plant is. That's a neat plant though. Cooking time. Hey, should I have this on high heat? No idea. Guess we're going to do it anyway, just in case. I mean, more is better than less, right? Pat's completely unsolicited opinions of things. This is what I think, but I don't have any facts to back it up. There you go. yeah, that's pretty much my channel right there. The whole thing. Awesome. Gonna let these brown a bit. Ooh, I wonder if I can do time lapse. Here's a question for you chefs out there. Why use a wooden spoon? Why not use a plastic one? I don't know. But I like the wooden spoon, and I always have. And I think the reason for that is because it makes you feel like you're a classy professional chef, even though you're not. See? It's made of wood. Somebody had to carve that down by hand. No, it wasn't press molded in a factory. Stop ruining my dreams. Now that I got that in there, I'm going to use a little bit of this past-date rosemary, just to, add something special. No precise amount. There's never a precise amount when you don't know what the hell you're doing. I can smell it already. Put some more olive oil in there, and I think it's time to add the meat. I think that's it for that bottle of olive oil. Pop open the meat. You slice. One of the great things about stew beef is that it is already cut into pieces for stew. So you just kind of plop that into the pan. And then break it up with your wooden spoon. Always be sure to thoroughly clean your wooden spoon, because wood is porous and it soaks up the juices, and that makes things gross. And if you don't like things gross, then you should wash them. It's just between you and me. Alright. Breaking up the beef, Chief. Break up the beef there, Dan. Sear the beef, Chief. Sear the beef there, Dan. Who's Dan? I don't know. I've seen chefs will often hold the handle of the pot while they're cooking. I don't know why they do that. I guess it's a place to put your hand. I'm pretty sure it's so that they can control what the hell's going on. Just realized I wasn't doing that, and I'm like, alright, maybe I should just one hand cooking. I am prepared in the case of an accident, in case I ever screw up with that knife over there, because I already know how to cook one-handed. There we go, behind the back. Maybe a little more heat. Maybe, I don't know, guys. Whew, getting a little dry in there. I need to oil it up. Good thing I've got 7 bottles of olive oil in my cupboard here. It's a good year. A little bit of this here black pepper. Again, no measurements. Why? Why not? Perhaps just a little bit more past date rosemary for the smellings. Yes. Yes! It's coming along nicely. There's a good funk coming off of that. That's a cooking term, right? Funk? Beef and onions always smells funky. I don't know. It's not really... You guys have a word for that? Post it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. I need your attention! I think we have seared the beef. So I'm going to call that done for the now. Move it over here. Move that over there. Get out of here. Tea kettle. I think I'm making tea over here. Alright. We're back at the cutting station with a large salad bowl. And that is because I am going to cut up my vegetables. Actually, no. I'm not going to cut up my vegetables. First I'm going to wash them. But I'm not going to show you that because it's boring. Okay, now that I have made my vegetables slightly wetter, you'd think I'd want to peel them. But I'm not going to peel them, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm a man, baby, and that's how I do it. No, but there's something about the concept of stew that just screams rustic to me. And it's supposed to be the fall, and it's supposed to be, harvest time, and these things came out of the dirt. They should have a little dirt in them. That's how I feel about it. So I'm actually going to leave the skins on. I like to keep the turnips in as good, or parsnips. Parsnips. I like to keep them in as big and unbroken a form as possible, and that's because they tend to melt in the pot during all of the heating and so forth. So I'll have these big 4 stalks that'll pretty much melt into nothingness, and then these guys will turn into little chunks of parsnip. The horrible, distasteful, acrid flavor that is the parsnip is essential to the stew. You want the stew to punch you in the face when you put it in your mouth. You want it to just be like, oh, that's earthy, and what's that in my nose? That's the parsnip. Into the salad bowl with them. Onward to the carrots, again, leaving them largely unpeeled, getting rid of the tops and the bottoms, and then just hacking them into a couple of pieces. 1, 2, 3. That'll do. That one barely even, we'll call it, ow, solution found. Potatoes. I'm sure if I had any kind of talent for this, I'd have uniform sizes and shapes to each one of my cuts here, and that would end up with a nice, predictable portioning system for the stew when it comes out. You say, oh, everybody gets a cube of potato, and everyone gets a cube of beef, and everyone gets a third of a carrot, but I don't like that, because stew, again, rustic. Rustic means real. Real means it's not fair. Life isn't fair, people, and your stew is going to come out different from the guy's stew next to you, and you're just going to have to learn to live with it. Sorry about my attitude in that last segment. I was cutting things, and I get a little angry when I'm cutting things. You know how it goes. Hey, remember that part when I said I was going to need a big old pot? I think I found one. Or at least... sorry, I'm sorry. Potatoes. Ooh, there's more potatoes. Oh, there's a whole lot of Special K. It's good for me and it helps me lose weight. Garbanzo beans. There we are. Diced tomatoes. That's going to form a nice base for the stew. Obviously, it's not going to be entirely tomatoey, and I don't want it to be. I just want there to be a little bit of a tinge in the background there. There's a nice acidity to the tomatoes that helps bring out the flavor of the beef. At least that's my experience, and maybe that's completely fictitious, but that's the way I've always thought it worked. Since I found some extra potatoes whilst digging around for the diced tomatoes, I'm going to make sure to cut those up and put them in the stew as well. The reason for this is they are a different kind of potato from the other potato, and that will result in texture variation, as well as some subtle flavor differences. I have cleverly maneuvered a tripod onto my counter so that I can give you a look down into the pot, which I will start off with just the tomatoes. Notice how careful I am about the lids on these things. Ever since I was a little kid, they freak me right out. Add some water to that. There we go. Start by tossing in the beef and onions, because the meat is what we'll need to cook the longest. Oh, there's still so much on the bottom of this pan. Oh, I'll get that out of there. Good, good, good. Delicious drippings. There we go. While we are letting that simmer, it's a perfect opportunity for me to introduce you to a cool tool and a little friend. This is Eggs, my sister's fish. My youngest sister lives in South Korea and could not take her fish with her, so I have been watching over Eggs ever since. What I'm doing right now is removing the nasty skin from the top of some cloves of garlic. And after I do that, I'll get to use my garlic press, which is fun, because it's like that kit you had when you were little with the Play-Doh. It's an ongoing thing with me that I always try to include a lot of garlic in my stews. And the reason for that started out just as a joke. The idea is that I always make stew in the fall. Fall is when they have Halloween, and Halloween is when all the monsters come out, so naturally you want to consume more garlic in order to prevent yourself from being the victim of a vampire. So I'm going to take all of this and shove it all up in here. You remember that commercial? Hamburger patty, Slip on the bun. Ice cream, oh, what fun. Snack shop. Snack shop. Yeah. That's a big old mess of garlic right there. And in it goes. Into our little witch's brew. That ought to keep away a vampire or two. I think we're safe. Now it's time to add the rest of the ingredients. Along with what I suspect will be a lot of water. There we go. That's my precision measurement right there. One salad bowl full of water should do the trick. And then raise the heat up a little bit. And if you have a cover, cover it. If you don't have a cover, which I honestly don't know if I do or don't. No, that ain't it. How about this one over here? Nope, too big. How about this one? Haha, the cover game. We win. Okay, so I'm going to try a little experiment here. The idea is that I'm going to crush these peppercorns even though I don't have a proper pepper grinder. And by taking them and setting them on a plate, and then grabbing another plate of equal size, and then smashing it, I suspect that I may be able to break this plate. Yep, nope, this is happening. It's happening. I can feel it happening. It is working. The plate is not breaking yet. I have succeeded in crushing at least one of the peppercorns. I think this may take me some time. Eggs looks on, confused. Yeah, alright, no, that's good. We've crushed enough peppers. I will now add to my black pepper just a bit of oregano, and then perhaps a single bay leaf. Don't know what it is about them, don't know what they add. Frankly, I think they're bland and flavorless, but the fun part is that you can choke on them. So you have to be careful with every spoonful, because you might just get stabbed in the back of the throat with a bay leaf. So I'll go ahead and add those into the brew. I've decided that I'm going to try something different this time. A whole apple. I'm just going to stick this whole apple in the middle of the pot. And I'm really not too worried about skinning it, and I'm also really not too worried about cutting it up. So we'll see how that turns out. And now comes what is arguably the most boring part of the process, simply waiting for the stew to cook. I've found a way to spice this up just a bit though, and that is with a beer sampling. Yes, that's right. What are you going to drink with your stew? I've decided that because it's autumn and because it's an anti-vampire stew, I should naturally have some pumpkin ale. So I bought a 6-pack full of different types of pumpkin ale, and we're going to rate them. Okay, I said I had a 6-pack, and that much is true. But unfortunately, there wasn't quite the variety I was hoping for at the store, so I got doubles on one. And we'll find out how it is, and if we like it, then we'll be glad we have doubles, and if it sucks, then we'll throw the double out. Let's go ahead and try out the Sam Adams first. Notice the dark amber color. The first thing I noticed is that there's almost kind of a smoky flavor to that. Almost kind of woody, pumpkin-y. But pretty much what you would expect from an ale if somebody had dipped a pumpkin in it. No, there it is on the back end. A little too much focus on the hops and the roast, and not enough focus on the pumpkin. Could be more pumpkin, could be less roasted. That's okay, they're doing their own thing. Let's see what Saranac has to offer. I already know the answer to this one. The answer is, hot damn, that's pumpkin-y. As always, I am a big fan. Every single year, they just knock this one out of the park. Perfect balance between ale and pumpkin. Not too roasted, not too thin, not too watery. This, fabulous. And they're one of my favorites for all kinds of other beers. And trust me, I'm a beer snob. Shipyard. That's not what I was expecting. The label clearly says pumpkin head. I assumed that Pumpkinhead would be largely consistent of pumpkin and not a giant bee's nest. That's a honey beer, that's not a pumpkin beer. It's good, but it's not a pumpkin beer. Stop it. Stop it. Maybe they filled the pumpkin with honey and then threw that in the lager. What pumpkin patch have you been smoking in? UFO? Light, crisp, citrusy, perhaps even a bit of orange peel, maybe, maybe not. Touch of pumpkin, a little cinnamon spice. Very, very good. Very, you guys know what synesthesia is? It's where you relate one sense to another. Alright, this is high-pitched. That is a low growl. Okay? You get what I'm saying? Like, this is bassy, and this is like a piccolo. Not your traditional ale. That's a lot more like a wheat beer. There's an awesome pumpkin spice flavor behind that. Just terrific. A little bit of clove, a little bit of cinnamon. Really well done. And post road, last but not least, I've had this in previous years. It was a little heavy on the clove that time, but I kind of liked it that way. And it is still a little heavy on the clove, but I kind of like that. And it is a little bitter, but I kind of like that. Wow, there's really not a whole lot of pumpkin going on there, to be honest with you. It's mostly the spices that you associate with pumpkin spice. So you're like, okay, pumpkin should have cinnamon, it should have cloves, it should have cardamom. So they were like, they got all of those three, and then they were like, oh, we forgot the pumpkin, and they threw it in at the last minute. But the spices are very nice, good complement to the brew there. I'm gonna order these guys from darkest to lightest. Skip it up a day, skip a little day, skip up a little. That's my scat singing pumpkin rearranging song. Okay, so from darkest, richest, maltiest, this is your bet. This guy right here, a little bit more bitter, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more grown up, not quite so pumpkin-y. Maybe you're not a basic bitch. Maybe you don't like pumpkin that much, but maybe you want to get seasonal. That's your beer right there. This right here, the Saranac, perfect blend. Absolutely, I mean, they've just nailed it. Once again, every year, year after year, Saranac, your recipe is fantastic. Your craftsmen are geniuses. That's all I've got to say for you. Thank you very much. UFO, maybe you're a wheat beer guy. This right here is that with a hint of pumpkin. And frankly, I am a shock top guy. I love wheat beers, so that right there, nice combo. Shipyard Pumpkinhead, I don't know where to begin, frankly. I'm disappointed on a number of levels. It says pumpkin on it. It's not pumpkin, it's honey, and that's weird. You could have Beehive Head with a horse, and he could be diving across the label there with a beehive and lots of bees coming out and stinging people aggressively, and they'd be all like, "Oh God, why?" And that's kind of how this beer makes me feel when I drink it. I don't know what to tell you, folks, aside from that the obvious winners at this table are these two guys right here, the UFO and the Saranac. Fantastic. Way too much beer on this table for me to drink. Not going to finish it all. Probably going to finish more than I should. Keep it here. Okay. Been cooking for a while. I think that probably ought to do it. I had a fun little theory about using up the last of that beer as water for the stew, and perhaps someday I will try to make a beer stew, but that is a task for another night, I think. In the meantime, this has worked itself into perfect stew consistency, and I think is just about ready to eat. So I'm going to dish up a bowl and have some myself. It wouldn't be stew if it weren't served in a giant, oversized bowl. Looks like my parsnips held up better than I expected them to. Maybe I've been doing this wrong in the past, I don't know. Maybe I did it wrong this time. We'll find out when I taste it. In the meantime, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed our little cooking expedition adventure thing. The cooking that we did there. I hope you had fun with it. I suppose it probably wouldn't be a very good cooking show if I just showed you how to make it and then didn't taste it. I mean, it could have come out like crap for all I know, so. Ooh, piping hot. Oh, nice. Not too bad if I say so myself. Could have gone a little heavier on the garlic, I think, but the vegetables all complement each other pretty well, and I think that apple did something. It's kind of sweet, kind of tangy. I think that'll be a regular thing from now on. Anyway, feel free to come back and join me for my next adventure, be it in the kitchen or in the woods. I'll be around doing stuff. So, see ya.